Welcome back to Team T's Garage. So we're gonna kind of go through and do a quick recap of what we did on last episode, as you've seen. So there's a few things we had to address along the side here. We streamlined it, got these fenders that I had on order installed. Kind of had to mock up some body mounts, kind of figured out center what looked good from afar. Down in here we kind of got some redneck science going on. Have our puck here, rubber. There's another one down here, and then our 3x3 or 4x4 block right there. And then we kind of started going through when it was just the frame and kind of did this one. Kind of had like the shape going on, and you kind of go down in there. I can show you. So we got this mount kind of rigged up here. So this is gonna be like our body spacer, and then the puck washer, this flat plate, so we can kind of weld it on where we need it. And then the bed will just sit up on top of those. This is kind of just a piece of wood for now. Kind of have to mock up something that steel spacer under here, and then just same difference all the way down. So then the bed will mount down on that. So back up here now. We kind of had a few concerns when we got it on, and one of them was this gap between here. We didn't want it to be too thick, so we kind of have it mocked up for now. One of those issues was that we needed to slide this whole cab backwards, so then that gap would close up, and then we couldn't run our mechanical fan. So we got an aluminum radiator with electric fan instead, so that kind of shifted it back. And this is a 4-core instead of a 2 or 3-core like my old one. So another thing with this radiator we had a concern about is, you can see this would mount up there with those 2 bolts, and then there's 2 up here top, but that's about an inch taller, so we need to mount the hood back up on there to make sure that'll close down all snug. And then we got the grill off also, so it'll be a little easier to mock this radiator in here. So we kind of had to splice some things down because it's a little thicker than the 3-core. So just coming down the truck, going towards the back. This lines up pretty good. We're obviously gonna have to do some modifying, like this whole truck is gonna be. Another issue that we have is when you look back at the truck, the back wheel kind of sits further back in the fender well. So we have a few options we can do there. We can either go through and get all these rivets off of the leaves, slide this whole back axle forward so then it'll sit under, or we can chop the frame at 6 inches, which would give us a little more room between our electric fan up here and the motor. We could also run a manual fan at that point if we cut the frame. It'd also give us that clearance here so it doesn't look so tucked back in that fender. So the next step is we're gonna go get one of our bed lifter thingy-mabobbers and lift this bed off, so then we can kind of address what needs to happen next with the rear axle situation. So we went and picked up our bed tool lifter thingy, and we'll go over there and get that bed off so we can address our situation. have to back up or I'm gonna hit the house.
You're good.
How do you want to do this?
We'll just set it like this. Just go for it.
Okay, so we got the bed off. Kind of had to go backwards to go forwards, but that's what you have to do sometimes. So in both cases, either if we cut the frame, we're gonna have to cut it right here, but we'll probably Z-notch it and then have somebody else weld it up, so then it'll be stronger and then we won't be too compromised. And then the other thing is we'd have to do these rivets on there, and then we'd have to do the rivets here, 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 there, and then the other ones on the bottom on both sides. Then we'd have to redesign the shock tower somehow to get it everything kind of slid forward so it doesn't look weird in the fender well. But we'll think about it and see. So it's a new day in the garage. Dad's not home. Got up in Colorado hunting. Talon's figured out what he's gonna do with this rear end. And yeah. So yeah. I'll show you guys what I decided to do here. Okay, so we got the bolts in here. 4 of them. They're just snug for now. It's kind of a pain because there's a plate back here, so you kind of have to reach your hand way in there. When my dad gets back, we'll figure out a way to lower these down, and then we're gonna plasma cut the holes through, and then we'll just post drill it with the drill so it gives us a cleaner hole. Do the same on the other side, and then this should be done. We decided to take the second option and cut the rivets out. My dad convinced me to go out and buy a plasma cutter, so I did the right thing, went and bought one, saved him some time to cut these rivets out. He went in there, just wallered the hole out with the plasma, and then got a hammer and chisel and then chiseled off the excess steel. So me and Trey again are gonna go through, put the bolts in for this, and then he's gonna have to drop this one down and then drill holes into the frame for those 4 bolts. We went with some grade 8s to just replace the rivets. They're gonna be just as strong as the rivets did both sides. Okay, so it's a new night in the garage. Dad's back from the hunt, and he went through and blasted the holes through the frame, and we went through and bolted everything up. Bolts all the way through on this side. Same on the other side. You can kind of see on the back side of the frame right there. Bolted through. We have 2 more that I gotta go through and do. They're under here. They're under here on this side, and then on this one, they're on top. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. I recommend to go watch our other videos. They're pretty cool.